The African Wildlife Database is a joint effort between the Peregrine Fund and the Endangered Wildlife Trust, which is in South Africa. And the database is basically collecting all information on wildlife poisoning incidences throughout Africa. And what we're interested to do is just have a central big database that people can input records to. So if you, as any kind of citizen science, anyone can input records. You just have to register first, and then you can input your records, but you can also retrieve data, and you can see where the hotspots for poisoning have been, and then you can also get more detailed information if you request it. So it's both to input data and to retrieve it, and it's a real resource for us to really be able to speak to politicians and governments about this issue of wildlife poisoning, because it affects not just wildlife, but it trickles down, and it affects people's livestock, it affects human health, because poisons, once they're in the environment, affect a lot of different animals and groups of species. So a lot of the poisons are, what people are generally using are actually highly toxic pesticides that are legal to use in Kenya for the intended purpose, but they're being misused to poison wildlife, particularly predators, lions, hyenas, leopards, and species that generally attack livestock. And when the livestock is attacked, farmers also often retaliate, and the carcass that's left over will be laced with these pesticides. And generally what happens is the birds come first. So it's often that the intended target, the hyena or the lion, is not poisoned, but what usually is poisoned is vultures in particular, but also eagles, lots of other birds, because the birds find the carcasses first and they come down in big numbers, particularly the vultures. So you're always going to lose birds, and they're not the intended target. Pesticides are also being misused, though, even to poison birds in rice schemes. So a lot of these birds are being targeted for the local market. We have lots of cases that we know of, and this has been happening for years, but it's still there. So poisons are also getting into the food chain that way, and also through fishing, particularly in Lake Victoria, where fish are being poisoned, and then those fish are being sold in the market. So we're really concerned about the wildlife poisoning because it affects all of us. The birds are important because they have a role in the ecosystem. Particularly the vultures, I think a lot of people will understand that they're the ones that are cleaning up the carcasses, and without them, we are risking ourselves to various diseases that are spread at carcasses when the carcasses are not consumed quickly, which is really the key function of the vultures. So in addition, the poisons are contaminating the environment. So we're trying to raise a lot of awareness about this issue because poisons are being misused to poison dogs, to poison obviously predators, but even mice and squirrels that are in shambas. So we really want to spread awareness that this is really contaminating the environment, and it is affecting not just the animals that you're targeting, but many others that could be consuming those contaminated carcasses. So we're asking Kenyans, wherever they are, in the communities, to help us gather information on the poisoning incidences that they might be seeing. Anyone can register the data that they have about a poisoning incident, and the website is www.africanwildlifepoisoning.org. And then you can go on, register as a user, and then that's how you input your data.